Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. They gave leadership to our foreparents, and that leadership made them slaves. But we have decided to find a leadership of our own.
Not your average nigga, I'm a god out the hood. They can't downplay me, I came up, I'm elevated. I ain't gotta say too much for them to know I'm coming for what's mine. You know they see me in my presence, say they see how I'm coming. Young, but you not just gonna finesse me like you did my peoples. Then back when you said they was emancipated. This ain't that. Your head too big, you feeling yourself. The game wasn't fair, you had the advantage, we wasn't educated. I don't look at you people the same. Nah. Your worst nightmare, my skin tone about them chains. Yeah. Not no circus lion, son, I can't be tamed. You gon' have to kill me, pussy, Toby ain't my name. Y'all still want us think our history started when we were slaves? What? Come on now, talk about them pyramids we made. I was chosen by that man, you know y'all just been running game. The nerve of you acting like...
What's going on, family? Welcome back to Shifting the Culture podcast. I am your host, Brother King Cam. And again, this is Shifting the Culture, the wave, the mindset, and the movement, family. So I need everybody to come on over to the comment section. Let me know what city and state that you tuned in from tonight. Let me know what city and state that you tuning in and watching us from tonight, family. Shout out to the Facebook family. You know, we always run down on all the social media platforms, and we got to give everybody some love. So shout out to the Facebook family. Make sure that you like and share. I need my Instagram family to comment so that we can get the maximum amount of engagement through the algorithm. I need my Twitter family to retweet. And I need the YouTube family. I need everybody who's going to be watching us from YouTube to smash that like button, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, smash that subscribe button, and hit the bell so you can stay notified each and every time that we drop a video. So tonight, family, we're going to be discussing media and warfare. Media and warfare and how it's being used against us as a people. And really not just us as a people, because we know it's being used against us. We the primary target. But it's also being used against Americans in general. It's being used against Americans in general. So I was reading something earlier out of my brother RZA book. Okay? And let me see. Hold on. What page was that? Okay. Couldn't find it for a second. And he has a book. His book is called Message to the Millennials, right? Message to the Millennials. So I want y'all to understand. Hold on, let me put this bad boy on. What is this? Put this on. Do not disturb. Hold up. Let me see. Boy, everything going down right now. It's going down. All right, so look. Message to the Millennials, right? This is Brother Rizza Islam's book. And in chapter 2, it's entitled Social Media. I want y'all to see that. Okay? It's entitled Social Media, right? And he gets into the uses of social media and how it is being used against the people and what is actually happening and what are they doing with media and warfare. Now, we know, and if you don't know, in warfare, the first way to start to sway the minds of the people is to put out propaganda. That's the first thing to do. The first thing to do is to put out propaganda that's going to support your message. That is the first order of business, okay? And the purpose of that is because you looking to get as many people. Hold on, man. I'm looking at how my hat hitting and my hat sitting. Okay. All right. You're trying to get as many people over to your message as possible. Essentially, right? That's what we're doing. Trying to get as many people over to your message as possible. That's right, Brother Nathan. Social engineering, family. Social engineering. So, and when you don't know the difference, I was just watching The Matrix the other day. When you don't know the difference, you can become a part of an idea, an ideology. You can even become a part of a conspiracy unknowingly. You can become a part of a plan that's detrimental to yourself, your family, your community, your people, and you have no idea because you don't understand how the media and propaganda has programmed you into thinking the way that you think. So let's see what Brother RZA is saying to us in this social media chapter, because it was heavy. He says, I think it is safe to say that we can all agree and come to a consensus and one full understanding when we look at the fact that social media is not free. Yes, we know that the media was meant to be free and not to be infringed upon. It is considered to be the fourth estate. The Constitution is supposed to protect the right to privacy. It is supposed to protect the rights of freedom of communication between persons and groups. This includes organizations, cities, states, and even countries. However, where there is free access to information, there will always be those who seek to control and manipulate the information being passed along as the capability of being monetized for financial gain. Social media was supposed to be a tool for the common good and the common freedom of the people to simply be able to communicate horizontally between each other rather than vertically, directionally up and down, like how the government controls information from the top down rather than the bottom up. Social media is supposed to be just that, social. However, when information became too accessible, it exposed this government to a new level of apparent vulnerability. Information, particularly about the government, about government documentation, international affairs, and top secret data was revealed. It was not something they expected because they never wanted the public to be able to access their information. Yet they wanted to have all access to the public's information in the name of national security. Now, what? Oh, sorry. That was something else that they wrote right there. Now what? You may ask, was it that sparked social media and it's being monitored and no longer being free as it had been? Interestingly enough, if you look at the timeline when social media was started, coincidentally, if we would like to use such a phrase, an event occurred which sparked a major shift in how information was to be used. In 1997, the world's first social media network and site called 6 Degrees was created. It was indeed the first networking site which allowed people to make individual profiles and add others to their personal network. It was officially launched in 1997 and lasted up until about 2001, when the peak of nearly 3.5 million users. Now, in 2001, something happened. I believe it was September the 11th, the Twin Tower bombing, or what they refer to as a terrorist attack. If you do not know what truly happened on that day, that is something that you should absolutely must learn, because 9/11 has been known to be one of the most, if not the greatest, justifications to invade foreign nations and destroy the constitutional protections of its citizens, as well as destroy the security of sovereign foreign nations, all in the name of national security and the protection of American citizens. All a lie. There are 2,000 engineers calling for the reopening of the files dealing with 9/11 due to there being so many scientific inaccuracies, far too many things to name here, but let us get back to social media. So, as we see here, the media is being used as a tool to control the minds of the people. RZA highlights what happened in 2001 with the Twin Tower. Obviously, we know that with the September 11th attacks, as he mentioned, they like to call it terrorist attacks. But we have to make sure that we study what has taken place. And that's why we're talking about this topic tonight, because it's important to know that everything that you hear in the media is not 100% accurate. It's not accurate. But if you're not careful, you'll get caught into believing that it's accurate. Okay? So this right here goes into the fact that social media was created as an opportunity for or a space for us to be able to utilize the internet to be able to connect with one another and things of that nature. But what happened is once the social media started to expose what mainstream media was lying to the people about, there was a problem. Therein lie the problem. Okay. So now they say we got to control social media. Not only do we have to control social media, we have to make sure that we're controlling it by controlling the algorithm, controlling the information that goes out, controls the content flow. That's where algorithm came into play, and being able to control algorithms and being able to set them so that you'll see certain content and you won't have access to other content. Okay? Because if you notice, when new social media platforms come to birth and you start posting, it's usually very easy. If you got good content, very easy for it to be seen. Very easy for it to go viral. Very easy for you to get a lot of engagement. But after a while, it starts to get more and more and more difficult for your content to be seen. And that's because they have put in place parameters so they know what type of content they want to be seen and what content they don't want to be seen. Okay? And so now you're getting into the warfare. Okay? This is the warfare. So we know that social media is being used to expose what a lot of the government was doing. So check this out. It says, this is something that many people don't want to hear because, let me back up. Let me go up here. It says, okay, now what is reality and what is the fact? The fact is that everything that we post, everything that we comment on, everything that we say and do on video and audio, as it pertains to not only social media, but our phone calls, our text messages, our emails, everything that we transfer through our cellular device, through our smart tablets, through our computers, and everything electronic with a microchip is indeed recorded, everything. And this is what the cloud is. The cloud is a big storage. They call it a big storage, but it's also a file cabinet, if you will, that any and everybody has access to. Those who created the cloud didn't create it without what is called a master key, so that they have the ability to tap into it if and when they need to. They didn't create it with a master key and lock themselves out of it so that each and every individual and their credentials are the only person to have access. That's not how these people work, okay? Now, we get into the fact that Edward Snowden and everybody like that started to leak government secrets around, what was taking place. They started to leak all of the illegal moves that the government was making around people's information. So this is the big thing about information and your information not being private anymore. All the technology, surveillance cameras, and see, they used 9/11 to justify this under national security. Under a national security headline was the fact that they increased surveillance, they increased monitoring on your social media, they increased monitoring of your cellular device, emails, all of these different things in the name of national security, all the while they're waging war against you and I, against our ability to speak freely against the evil that has affected us as a people, us as a country, us as a nation. So they stop those who look to speak the truth, and they cancel those who put out content, who speak truth to power. They remove them and scrub them off of social media. This is what's happening. I want you to listen now. So they get into, so RZA's getting into it as he goes into all of some of the science behind this warfare. So look, so everybody knows, well, we'll get into talking about collecting data and all of these different things. Well, it says this right here. This is heavy stuff. Here we go. Okay, it says the trust needs to be restored from the people for the government, according to Edward Snowden. He stated, "We shouldn't trust them." He was having a conversation with the Guardian newspaper, and he was specified that Skype, Google Hangouts, and others have been compromised. Anything that you can transfer or record through Skype and Google Hangouts, etc., can not only be monitored but can be played back. It can be weeks, months, or even over a year. The United Kingdom collects data and they hold on to that data between 6 weeks to 3 months, while in the United States, they usually hold on to data for about a year. And that data that they hold on to is more of the actual data rather than simply general content. So they make sure to hold on to every detail of, again, who you talk to, what you speak about, the location that you are in physically, what device you have, and who made the device, including all the documents and files you have on that device, so on and so forth. Also, according to Snowden, the auditing of these systems is very weak and no one truly monitors the auditing. So any of this data can be sifted through and evaluated, and there is no such thing as a morality officer in the NSA, National Security Association, the CIA, and the FBI, and others to simply go in and check the moral appeal, intent, and the reasoning behind the collecting of such data. This is why he exposed this and left the United States. It is being said now that the attention span of those within the general public is less than 12 seconds, specifically those who were born between 1981 and the year 2000. They are projecting that the attention span will shorten and become even less, reaching the low of about 5 to 8 seconds. Have you ever noticed that on Instagram, the video length is 60 seconds to 59.9 seconds? And as you scroll down, you scroll and scroll and scroll, you are mentally being conditioned to have an attention span of a maximum of 60 seconds. They instituted and created the IGTV to give you up to 10 minutes of video play if you upload from a cellular device, or more if you upload from a computer. As you scroll, there is a numbing effect on the mind that takes place. You become used to seeing things that are negative. You become used to seeing things that are funny. You become used to seeing things that are quick and fast paced. So in the mind, it is firing and pumping neurons very quickly, but much of the information is not necessarily useful. So by the time you attempt to access your mental power and capability, it isn't as strong as it was prior to using social media. As you're scrolling on your cellular device, you will notice that some people are now developing a small hump in their back because of the position that they are in when they are using their phone to scroll down through social media. It is a condition called Dowager's hump. Dowager's hump, I think that's how you pronounce it. Wow. Look at that. White people have that joint all the time, Dowager's hump. In advanced osteoporosis, a person sometimes develops vertebral fractures, and kypnosis or a spinal hump often occurs. Wow. Look at that. Man, my brother got all the illustrations. So look at y'all. Look at y'all texting. Look at y'all texting. This how you look. Developing a hump in your back. Hold on. Developing a hump in your back. See? From all that texting and social media, this how you going to look in a few years. You're going to have this on your back. Check it out. Warfare. So, and it also give you the correct texting posture. Boy, oh boy, look at this. That's right. It's called Message to the Millennials by our brother Rizza Islam. Brother Nathan. That's a fact. So it even has a high effect on the self-esteem. The more likes we receive, the better we feel. The less likes we receive, we begin to question, is this picture cute enough? Did they not like my outfit? Why did I get more likes on a picture of my body, but when I post up a picture to support this GoFundMe, I get far less because there's something wrong with me? So this is a mental attack. And you see it in a lot of teenagers as well. A lot of teenagers are affected heavily by social media because of the images that are put out there. So he goes on to say, we now have based our self-esteem on a fictitious, fake system of validation. We actually care more about what people we have never met before think rather than the people who we live with or the people we see every day in our actual life. Suicide rates have gone up for those who receive less likes on their posts. People have deactivated accounts because they did not receive enough attention. People have had mental breakdowns because not enough people watch their live videos. And this is not simply on Instagram. This is on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and all other social media platforms. So, family, if you just tuning in, this is Brother King Cam, and this is Shifting the Culture podcast, the wave, the mindset, the movement, and we're discussing the war, the media warfare against us. And I'm tapping into my good brother, Brother Reza Islam, his book, Message to the Millennials. And we just going over some information on how social media has been weaponized against the people and how the media in general has been weaponized to sway the hearts and the minds of the people to keep you ignorant. I was listening to a clip of the minister today. The minister said that somebody is profiting from our ignorance. I'm going to say it again. That somebody is profiting off of our ignorance. And this is why they don't want you to know the truth. Why else would any entity, government, organization, why would they want to keep you out of the light of truth? Why would they lie to you? The reason that they lie, the reason why they're dishonest is because they have to keep you ignorant in order for them to be able to prosper off of your ignorance. They're doing things that you have no idea of. And because they're doing things that you have no idea of, they have the ability to get away from it, get away with it, and they have the ability to profit off of it. They literally profit off of your ignorance. They profit off of your lack of financial education. They profit off of your lack of understanding politics. They profit off of your lack of knowledge when it comes to so many different things. Somebody is profiting from your ignorance. So they have a fear of anybody who's going to stand up and tell the people the truth. Am I telling the truth? Come on now, talk to me. Talk to me now. They have a problem. And if you notice, anybody who comes and speaks against anything mainstream media, they will quickly move to censor that person. First, they start by taking some of your videos down, striking your YouTube channel. Warning. But after a while, if you stay consistent, they will remove you from social media altogether. It was only just a few years ago when they totally removed several people, including the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, off of social media. Now, if you listen to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, if you listen to any of the lectures that the minister has ever done in his life, those lectures and the information and the teaching that the minister has been giving us is beneficial to black people and beneficial to humanity. He talks about marriage. He talks about family. He talks about economics. He talks about spiritual growth and development. Who wouldn't want to hear about that? Who would not need to be taught about that, especially when you look at the condition of society today? Sociologically speaking, we are living in a degraded society. The people are beasts in human form. The people are beasts in human form. So why would you want to remove content that helps raise people out of the grave of ignorance? It's because you get paid to keep people in the grave of ignorance. It's because you profit off of the grave of ignorance. And the moment that the grave is cleaned up, the moment that the grave no longer has bodies in it, the moment that the grave no longer has minds in it, then that shuts down your whole operation. Somebody talk to me. That's real talk. real rap. You understand? So this is why they don't want you to know what's really happening. And that's why Brother Rizza said, we must get back to reality. We got to get back to reality, family. That's just real talk. So they want to keep us ignorant. They don't want you to know what's going on. They don't want you to be interested. They don't want you to be politically engaged. They don't want any of that stuff going on. So now you see what's happening in our community. If you just look at what's going on in black media and all of the news, all of the stuff that's coming out, it's about influential black people. And what they're doing is they're trying to skew your view of your own people. They're trying to skew the view of your own people. They're trying to do that to you. Dry running it. And what happens is they're putting out media, they putting out propaganda, and they seeing how you react to it. They putting out propaganda, they putting out media, they putting out news stories, and they testing you. They testing your reaction to it. And they saying, ooh, okay, let's see how black people react to this information against one of their own. Because, see, it's always about the way communities move, the way people and nations move. You're supposed to ride for your people. Now, if your people do something, then you handle your people, but you don't let outsiders handle your people. Okay? So the minister said that you should always defend your people. If they're wrong, then you deal with them being wrong, but you don't let nobody else deal with them being wrong. So that's how other people move, except for black people. We the only people that will allow some outsider to come in and tell us about our people, tell us about our leaders, tell us about anybody of influence. Somebody from the outside gonna tell us how we should treat them, how we should react to this, that, and the third. That should never take place. You can't go to white people or Asian people or East Indian people or Jewish people. You can't go to none of those people and tell them about their own. That they're going to say, okay, and publicly chastise their own. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do the most they'll say is, yeah, well, we don't support that. We don't, we condemn that. Real light. If you push them hard enough, you'll get some light. But to totally tear down, you don't see it. You don't see it, them using their media outlets, their media strong arms to post up any gossip about their own people. They just not going to do it because it's counterproductive. It's counterproductive. We the only people that don't know that because we like to feed off of the flesh of our own brothers and sisters. And because that's the type of mentality we have. So the Quran says, would you like to eat the flesh of your own brother? Well, it's talking about gossiping and backbiting. And this is why the Holy Quran is so strong against gossip and backbiting. It says, woe to the slanderer and the defamer. Whoa. Meaning, wait a minute. Man, we don't want no slanderers or defamers around us. And it goes into detail about gossip. It goes into detail about slander. It goes into detail about lying on your own people. It goes into detail about when you hear certain things. It says when an unrighteous person brings you news, look carefully into it. Right? Look carefully into it. When an unrighteous person brings you news, look carefully into it, lest you be sorry, for what you did. See, because you can say something some unrighteous person can bring you some news, and then you can take that news and do something with it, spread it, and then be sorry for what you did after the fact. But you done already defamed somebody now. You done already slandered somebody now. Why does the devil teach and keep our people illiterate? So that he can keep you as a slave and keep you as a tool. That's why. Because you can be used now against your own people because you're ignorant and because you're illiterate. Walaikum salam, Brother Roy. What's going on, family? This is your brother, King Cam. I'm your host, Shifting the Culture podcast. And this is why black media is so important. This is why Shifting the Culture is so important. This is why you got to tune in every week. Tune in every week and support, because we have to make sure that we on our job. That's just the plain and simple of it. We have to make sure that we on our job. Because if we not on our job over here, then what happens is the enemy get to run rampant. You did? You understand what I'm saying? So the war, the warfare, the war that's against us is heavy. Okay? The war that's against us is heavy, family. See? So, man. Hey, and RZA got these new pills too. New supplements, not pills. He got these new supplements. He got these new supplements that we should take that's going to help free our minds. I want to get some. And they actually currently in the process of trying to stop the brother from being able to produce them. So I am definitely trying to make sure I get some of those, because I want to unlock my full potential. I want to unlock my full potential. We don't have time to be messing around and allowing the enemy to keep getting one-ups on us. That's real. So look, I want you to listen to this, right? Hold on. Actually, before y'all even listen to that, let me do this. Pull this up. All right, family. I hope y'all doing all right tonight, man. We just talking. We just having fireside chat with the family. You know, and we talking about media warfare. And I wanted to pull up this article. Yeah, I wanted to pull up this article. Because you don't even really know what you're dealing with. You really don't know what you're dealing with. So I want to help us to understand what we're dealing with. Is this the one? Okay, I think this the one. Dang. Is it gonna let me? All right, let me see if I can highlight it so I can read it. Okay, because this is talking about psychological warfare. Oh, go back. Okay, psychological warfare. Or psy-war. Come on, man. Highlight. Okay. Dumb. All right, boom. Psychological warfare, or the essential parts of present-day psychological operations, have been known by numerous different names or terms, including MISO, PsyOps, political warfare, hearts and minds. Remember that? I just mentioned that. Hearts and minds. And another word, I think, pronegation. The term is utilized to signify any activity which is rehearsed fundamentally by psychological strategies with the point of inspiring and arrange psychological response in other individuals. Different procedures are utilized and are gone for impacting and attended interest groups, esteem framework, conviction framework, feelings, thought processes, thinking, or conduct. It is utilized to initiate admissions or strength strengthened state of mind and practices ideal to the originator's targets and are some of the time joined with dark operations or false banner strategies. It is additionally used to devastate the spirit of adversaries through strategies that plan to discourage troops, psychological states, target gatherings of people can be governments, associations, gatherings, and people, and isn't simply constrained to officers. Civilians of foreign territories can likewise be focused by innovation and media in order to cause an impact in the legislature of their nation. Right? So it's talking about what psychological warfare is. So you getting into things like sleep deprivation and all of these different tactics that they use to put you in a state of mind that will force a reaction that they're looking for. Right? So when you get into things of that nature, you're talking about, what happens when you become a prisoner of war and they're looking to extract information. I mean, we just got to let you know what's happening. This is a truth-telling platform. It's a truth-telling platform, okay? Truth-telling platform. So now they talk about something called Facebook terrorism and Twitter terrorism. And it says Facebook is the greatest online casual association as of January 2014. It had 1.3 billion customers, of whom 54% sign in constantly and half, 48%, sign in on any given day. Their typical age is around 30 years. In the Middle East, Facebook has seen an essential support augmentation and came to 67% entrance in 2010. And in Asia, all things considered, 23%. And then they talk about Twitter, right? Twitter is a free miniaturized scale blogging administration that enables each record holder to appropriate messages called tweets, which are constrained long to 140 characters. A client's tweets can be completely open to general society or confined to different clients who decide to tell him or her. Twitter can be gotten to as a site or through cell phones. By mid-2013, the 554,750,000 Twitter clients tweeted around 9,100 messages consistently, or 58 million every day, a number that is developing quickly. So it's breaking down Facebook, Twitter, got YouTube on here, right? And then they talk about, how these foreign governments was able to use this stuff in order to commit or to enact psychological warfare against the people. So that's a little bit on the psychological warfare. And this is what you see taking place, even if it's not so overt, it's more covert. It's not as overt as it is covert in here, okay? And that's what you have going on. Is this the same thing? No, that's not the same thing. So we had to be careful. We had to be careful. We have to be careful about what it is that we listen to, especially when it comes to black people. Especially when it comes to black people. Because, as Brother Malcolm said, the media can make the guilty look innocent and the innocent look guilty. Okay? It can make the innocent look guilty and the guilty look innocent. So, you got a lot that's going on. And there's a lot of empirical information out here around media warfare, propaganda. You can go to different things and you can read up on so much of it. But if you check out this this Cambridge University press article where it talked about media warfare, propaganda, and the law of war, right? From cyber warfare, media warfare, and lawfare. In today's 24/7 media internet culture, warfare does not take place only in the kinetic arena of the battle space. Airstrikes, artillery barrages, and infantry maneuvers are accompanied by equally intense debates and discourse in the media about the legality and legitimacy of military action, with allegations of war crimes and justifications for attacks flying as quickly as drone strikes. With the involvement of international, regional, and national courts, commissions of inquiry, other judicial and quasi-judicial entities, and perhaps most of all, the court of world opinion, this battle of words can often seem to be as important as military capabilities. Information-based operations and exchanges can take many forms during conflicts, such as information operations, psychological operations, and propaganda, to name a few. Independent media coverage and social media add to the mix. Indeed, winning modern wars is as much dependent on carrying domestic and international public opinion as it is on defeating the enemy on the battlefield. Numerous factors form, sway, and cement the public opinion, including the efforts of militaries and armed groups to control information flows, and attempts by journalists, advocacy groups, fact-finding missions, and ordinary citizens to seek, publicize, and comment on information. This complex mix leads to a combustible arena of media warfare that has significant consequences, not only for the way wars are fought and won, but for the legal framework that governs conflict. This chapter will explore how propaganda and media warfare intersect with the international law framework governing conflict, focusing on how information operations and media coverage link back to legal compliance. Specifically, claims of law violations or compliance and legitimacy. In essence, the information battle space has a significant effect on the application and interpretation of the law of armed conflict, including the very definitions that form the heart and the legal framework. So what this is talking about is how just as important as the physical battle is the psychological battle that's taking place on these battlefields of information warfare. And this is what we engage in on a daily basis, honestly. When most people that are doing podcasts or doing social commentary are engaging in the information battlefield. Independent media coverage and social media add to the mix of these information operations and psychological operations and propaganda. This is what we're trying to tell you. See, the one thing that truth dislikes, the one thing that falsehood dislikes is when there's somebody on the scene that's going to tell the truth. One thing about falsehood or darkness is that it hates the light. When the light is present, falsehood disappears. What's going on, Brother Bam? When the light is present, falsehood or darkness disappears. So the worst thing for a liar is when somebody's coming to tell the truth. When a liar is shaking in their boots when truth is on the scene. So they running informational operations and psychological propaganda operations against you and I and the rest of the masses of the public so that they can try to cover their behinds with the falsehood to keep the veil over the eyes of the people. Wait a minute. This is what's going on. So as I mentioned earlier, they profit off of our ignorance. So for them, they have to keep you ignorant so that they can continue to profit and they can continue to move the way they've been moving. So they running all of these games. The problem is, though, now black people are waking up. Black people are coming into a new level of consciousness. Black people are reading like books called Message to the Millennials. And, they're reading other books that are helping to expose them. Eric Snowden and other people that formerly worked for the government are exposing all of this falsehood that has been undercover for so many years and been allowed to operate with impunity for so many years. Now we're in the age of truth. So as my brother Cat Williams said at the beginning of the year, see, all of the stuff that was taking place behind closed doors is coming out. The minister said that our righteousness will sustain us, meaning what? When the truth come out, if you haven't been upholding yourself to the righteous principles that the minister has been the example of, then you're going to be exposed. It's all coming out. Minister said a long time ago, you might as well tell the people everything about you. Don't try and hide nothing about what it is that you've done in the past, all that kind of stuff, because it's going to come out anyway, especially if you in the public eye. If you out here creating content, building a following, speaking to the people, calling yourself a leader, best believe your background is going to be checked. Best believe they're going to pull up. You see how they do anybody. When they want to get out of line or somebody starts speaking to some truth, they'll go and pull a tweet from 20 years ago. They'll go pull a tweet from way back in the day and say, hey, look, no, he was homophobic, or he was anti-Semitic, or he was this, he was that, she was this, she was that. So they already checking out your past. So if you are out front, best believe that they're going to be pulling the wool off everything that you have ever participated in. So this is why you got to be up front and you got to be real with the people. Yeah, I grew up Muslim. I was born in the Nation of Islam. I grew up in the black church though. You know what I'm saying? So I have those two dualities, those two experiences that I can draw on that, allow me to be able to move the way that I move, But I'm also got a criminal background. You understand what I'm saying? Like most of us got a criminal background. You feel me? For some mistakes that I made in my past, and I paid my debt to society, ain't never snitched on nobody. So your brother ain't no rat. So you can't pull that on me. Ain't no rat. Never wore no wires. Never did none of that. You know what I'm saying? Ate my charges. Ate them. And did what was necessary, what was required of for the punishment of my crimes. And we moved forward after that. And we've been living life ever since then. So, hey, you got to keep it real, though. Some of us be trying to sit up here and act like you ain't never did nothing, all this other stuff. And then the problem is a lot of us, you put people up on a pedestal. No, none of us fell out of heaven. None of us. People that's able to articulate themselves very well. People out here speaking and teaching and doing all these different things. But none of us came up from heaven. None of us. We all came up out of hell like you. So expect us to have some dirt on us. Expect us to have skeletons in the closet. Expect all those things. But you got to make sure that we up front, we're putting that information out, because best believe the enemy going to put it out. The enemy is checking it and going to put it out. He just waiting on the time when you thought that everything was sweet. He going to put it out. So we in that time of the warfare. And as I was just reading to you, they running all these different operations against those who are combating the lies. So it says numerous factors form, sway, and cement that public opinion, including the efforts of militaries and armed groups to control information flows and attempts by journalists, advocacy groups, fact-finding missions, and ordinary citizens to seek, publicize, and comment on information. This is where they clashing at, because they utilize the information to justify military maneuvers. So they go into a foreign nation to overthrow the nation, overthrow the government, to raise their plants up to take over as leadership and heads of state so that they can run their agenda in that particular nation, in that particular country. But then they put information back into the news cycles here in the States so that you can believe what they're doing over there is justified. that is justifiable and that they're just fighting for democracy. Talk to me. They're just fighting for democracy. So it's nothing that they could be doing that's duplicitous. There's nothing that they are over there doing that is illegal. There's nothing that they're over there doing that doesn't isn't required to be done in order to establish democracy. And that is the exact reason why when social media, independent journalism, and just regular ordinary citizens begin to opine and be able to seek and to find the information, it becomes a problem. It becomes a thorn in the side of these people because the truth is coming out. So we in this media warfare. It says this complex mix leads to a combustible arena of media warfare that has significant consequences, not only for the way wars are fought and won, but for the legal framework that governs conflicts. The media is so powerful. Independent media is so powerful. You have the ability and power to sway a whole voting block. You can stop people from going to the polls if you got enough influence. You can stop people from going to the polls, meaning you are directly affecting elections now. You have the ability to directly affect elections. Now, we know in certain elections, especially the federals, you know what I'm saying, on the federal level, when it comes to the president, they select it. So we ain't talking about that. But when you get into other aspects, local and state government, you have the ability to sway the outcome of the election. Even with the selection of the president, you still can throw off certain things that they had set up because of your influence. So this is why they're attacking. And this is what's going on. So they said that the complex mix leads to a combustible arena of media warfare and has significant consequences. So we have power, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. We have power. But you have to take your platform serious, and you have to be able to support the independent black media, because the independent black media is what keeps our people on the toes. So I'm excited to be a part of independent black media. I'm excited to, have colleagues in black media who are working to get the truth out to our people. And this is why we have to make sure that we got your support over here, Shifting the Culture, because that's the purpose of this. It's the wave. It's the mindset. It's the movement. That's what it is. We have to shift the culture. We have to get out of the backbiting, gossiping culture that we are in as a people, as black people. We got to change that. We got to change the lifestyle. You see what I'm saying? And we have to shift it. And we have to create a new reality, a new culture for our own selves. Yep, read a book called Confessions of Economic Hitman, and it discussed this. Absolutely. So it's all intertwined. All right, family. So I pray that this was beneficial, that you all was able to learn something, take something from this. We'll continue to talk about this as the weeks go on, because it's extremely important. It's active now. It's been active. You've seen the attack on social media platforms, people, YouTube channels getting snatched down. Brother Dr. Wesley YouTube channel just got snatched down maybe about a month or so ago. So we going at it. We battling on all social media platforms. So when you see the righteous engaged in battle, support. All right. So I appreciate you all, family. I'm going to be on the lookout on my social media, on my Instagram, and on my social media pages for updates, because Thursday we might have to move our Thursday show to another day. So I'm still trying to figure that out, but I'll be giving those updates on social media. All right, family. So may Allah continue to bless you with the light of understanding. I leave you in the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. They gave leadership to our foreparents, and that leadership made them slaves. But we have decided to find a leadership of our own.
Not your average nigga, I'm a god out the hood. They can't downplay me. I came up, I'm elevated. Elevated. I ain't gotta say too much for them to know I'm coming for what's mine. You know they see me in my presence, say they see how I'm coming. Young, but you not just gonna finesse me like you did my peoples. Then back when you said they was emancipated. This ain't that. Your head too big. You feeling yourself. The game wasn't fair. You had the advantage. We wasn't educated. I don't look at you people the same. Nah. Your worst nightmare, my skin tone about them chains. Yeah. Not no circus lion, son, I can't be tamed. You gon' have to kill me, pussy. Toby ain't my name. Y'all still want us think our history started when we were slaves? What? Come on now, talk about them pyramids we made. I'm chosen by that man, you know y'all just been running game. The nerve of you acting like